I was interested in the story of Chernobylite before I even joined the project. I was very happy for the trip there to see the place. I told my mom about the trip, and she wasn't sure I should go there. Our first trip took place probably in 2015. We drove to Ukraine by car, and we had a lot of gear with us. Huge photo lamps, floodlights, power generator, patrol canisters. It was really interesting. The road was long, tiring. We were stopping at the borders. They were checking papers, permissions, asking, "Why are you carrying crash helmets?"
We really wanted to scan the reactor before the Ark covered it. It took lots of preparations. We were travelling to Chernobyl with all necessary permissions, so we knew we could go there. Out of the blue, we got a phone call saying we can't enter the zone. Soon after, we got another phone call, this time saying that we can. When we arrived at the zone gate and we got yet another call, we couldn't scan the place.
I like to explore abandoned places, so I was literally all around the zone when we got there. I walked Chernobyl back and forth, wearing high heels, so I think that's some kind of achievement. Sometimes we had to wait for the right light or look for the perfect photo spot. And we even had our Tatiana running around Pripyat in her high heels. Kasia and I got some flu the second day in Chernobyl. We were so sick we couldn't shoot almost any photos at all. I remember doing the session in the Pripyat hospital. Kasia was setting up the cameras and I was squatting in the corner, having no strength at all. When it was all ready, she said I needed to stand up quickly to take the photos. I couldn't even stand straight. I was standing in those ruined buildings and tears were dropping from my eyes. The experience was very real.
After that, the road leading to the sarcophagus was harsh. The airport control is nothing compared to this. We were carrying all the gear and there were these checkpoints. They had to take out everything, check it all.
Sometimes we stayed in Ivankov, sometimes we stayed in Kiev. If it was Kiev, we had to get up earlier than usual. Once, we had the opportunity to travel by special train. I saw some people doing some vodka shots when they were waiting in line to get on the train. One of the workers got inside and reserved all the seats, one after another, by throwing some random items on them. A brooch, a key, a cigarette, a scarf. So we could literally see an empty wagon, but all the seats were taken. Our next trips also changed. We carried new, more advanced gear every time. The last trips were very easy, comfortable. We had less and less to carry and even got a scanner which optimized our work tremendously.
I remember having a 360-degree camera. We were almost on the power plant site, a place where no random tourist can go, and we had this device that was composed of 14 GoPros, a spherical camera. We were stopped by the security force because he said that all the lenses have to be covered. And there were 14 of them. We covered it with every spare piece of clothing we had, but even that wasn't enough for them. So we stood there, just meters away from the building. And we had in mind that it was actually the last opportunity to take photographs of the sarcophagus in its original state. We also had permission to be directly beside the sarcophagus, and even to fly the drone over reactor number 4. And that kind of permissions are almost impossible to get. Finally, we got to scan the construction site of the new sarcophagus, so we've seen something you can't see for yourself so easily now.
When we arrived in Chernobyl, we were instructed to not eat anything, not touch anything, not sit anywhere. If you can't do that, even to put the tripod on the ground, how are you supposed to collect the materials you traveled there for? Of course, we invented our own methods, using some tarps and covers. The moment we stopped caring about those restrictions, the work really sped up. However, we were still kind of limited by the protective gear, and we also couldn't get into the buildings. We had the permissions, we were on a science team, and we still had to do all of this so no one could see us.
We had a chance to walk around the whole power plant. That was really cool. We could see the places no one besides the power plant workers can. For example, we could enter the control rooms of reactors 2 and 3 for as long as we wanted to take the photographs there. During our first trip, we even got to eat in the workers' mess in the power plant. We had to go there through some back door. We visited relatively safe areas. When it comes down to the radiation, there was no way that the people responsible for us, our guide or the trip organizer, would let us go into the places that were dangerous.
To jest po prostu niebezpieczne pod kątem promieniowania.
Zawsze z tyłu głowy.
We always had the dangers in mind. So what is the most dangerous thing in Chernobyl? Is it to step into a hole in the ground? To have something fall on your head? Or even just to hit your head when crawling through some kind of slits or small rooms? All of the zone is decaying, changing every second.
się zmienia.
Byliśmy wtedy w
We were in a famous building known as KBO. Very nice space for scanning purposes. And that was the trip when we got a task to do: scan the basements. We were looking for those all around. It seemed so simple. Find it, scan it. But then we've learnt that not all the buildings have basements, and if some do, not all are fit to be scanned. We were roaming around the KBO. We scanned the upper floors, the staircase, and some rooms. Somehow, I started doing this alone. Dangerous and unwise. I split up from the group, walking around the whole building. I walked into some corridor, and there it is, a metal staircase leading below the ground. It seemed there was some basement there. Large, possibly a great place to scan. You just need to get down there, look at it, see if it's good for scanning. I started to walk down the stairs, and at first, it was okay. I stepped on maybe the 5th step and it bent. Felt like being made from paper, not steel.
Chciałem złapać się poręczy.
I grabbed a railing, but it cracked. And a piece of it literally stayed in my hand. It just vanished. It was so rusty, it just turned into dust.
Udało mi się.
Somehow, I managed to turn around, to move back. Each step I put my feet on practically broke down. At the end, when I was safe in the corridor, the whole staircase collapsed, fell into this basement. This descent vanished before my eyes. The whole situation felt like years, but it was probably only a few seconds.
Sekundy.